One of my favorite English kings, probably my favorite English king, Henry II, is on the throne. This is what England used to look like under his reign. I want to point out that this man, this Henry II man, had this when he started, right? He had this land. And from there, he would take advantage of his ties with his father and also Princess Matilda, which should be Empress Matilda. She was married to the Holy Roman Emperor. And just before this period of time, so it's worth noting, just before this period of time, we had a bit of a civil war in England. It was a period called the Anarchy, where everyone would build their own castles and everything sort of collapsed because the king, Henry I, Henry Beauclerk, here you go, who was the son of William the Conqueror, would die after his son died in the White Ship accident. I'm now just like sort of giving a history lecture. I'm gonna take down the formality a little bit. Basically, guy drowned along with a lot of English nobility. Kind of sucks for them. They drowned in excrement, actually. It was in the marshes, so that sucks. But that meant that he didn't have a male heir. He named his daughter Matilda, who was married to the Holy Roman Emperor, even after they were separated because he died. I don't know why I said were separated because he died. Even after the emperor died, she called herself the Empress. And England was torn in two between Stephen of Blois, which would occupy the English throne, and Matilda trying to claim back the throne with the help of her then husband, Joffrey. Yeah, Joffrey. I was about to get that wrong. And then when he was around 16, I think it was, Henry would march in after proving himself to be a very capable military commander. This, I feel like, is a very, very understated stat. And forced Stephen to sign a peace, which meant that when Stephen died, Henry would take over the throne. That's your history lesson over here. The reason I'm saying all of this is because of this. I don't want to say I don't want to get demonetized, but I have very strong feelings about Richard the Lionheart. I despise him. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I despise him with a passion. So what is about to happen, historically, is Richard the Lionheart, and this is why it matters. Really long tangent here. Richard the Lionheart is about to become king after betraying his father. This is, some people don't know this, but with the support of his mother, the Duchess of Aquitaine, he would, and also his brothers, would revolt against his father. They tried this previously. He defeated them because he's a badass, but he would sell off key towns over here to the French in return for the French king fighting against Henry II. And as the legend goes, it was the final betrayal of his son, who would then become king later, Prince John, switching sides, because he was always loyal, right? And there was a bit of brotherly rivalry where everyone hated John. Eventually John would be made, because they felt he got special favors, and John himself would switch sides against his father, and his father apparently died of a broken heart because of the stress of John switching sides, which sucks. Because all of these guys, all of his sons, were very capable in their own right. He gave them individual areas to rule over, whether it was trying to, I think he put his first son in charge of Brittany, and all this other stuff. They were very capable rulers, but they just sort of were very, very greedy. Anyway, after ascending to the kingship, Richard the Lionheart would be fascinated with this idea of crusade. He was a very capable military commander and would secure key land against the French. And I believe it was this lot, they would all decide, okay, peace, and we'll go and fight the Muslims. He turns up and he's such an insufferable military leader. Everyone hates him so much that they are crusading and they go home. Everyone else leaves because they can't stand him. He was that annoying that after he signs a peace with Saladin, he claimed victory, by the way, but realistically, Jerusalem would fall. The strategic aims weren't taken, so he definitively lost the crusade. No argument in my mind. As he's sailing home, he gets kidnapped by the Holy Roman Emperor. He was that annoying, and then was ransomed back to England for what is known as a king's ransom, which was, I think, 2 years worth of tax from England to pay him back, just to buy back the king. And then he dies. He gets shot with a crossbow bolt. He did nothing useful, and he's like venerated in English history, and I cannot figure out why. Because he sucks. As a human, he did horrible things as well. He was a good military commander, but bloody hell was he annoying.